It's been a while since we've done these at night when everyone is asleep. I can hear my music, but it's so quiet otherwise. It's gotten kind of weird. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's 64 Hydro is autism. Doesn't come with a manual. It comes with a parent who never gives up. Yes, for those of you who do not know and who are newer to the channel, my son is autistic. He is barreling towards 30 and still acts like a 15-year-old, which I know is common among men, but trust me, this is much, much different. Anyway, also, as usual, there is my usual juice in this. I had to make it a little stronger this time. Really nice. Anyway, so today we are going to be looking at this palette from Cara Beauty. There's a lot to talk about at the end of this. We did this look. Here's the palette. You can see where I've dug into it a little bit. But this is the look that I managed to make with it. And if you're interested in this look, if you're interested in this palette, or if you're interested in this brand, just keep on watching. So anyone who's been on the channel for about any length of time probably knows what my first problem was with this palette, and that's just that there's so many colors. But I do kind of sort of have a plan. I always look at the palettes before I get started and start deciding on a plan. And we're gonna do so far Plankton under the brow, Treasure on the inner corner, Sea Witch across the lid, this light green sea foam on the back side of the lid, the end of outer lid. We are going to then take, I had a plan. The plan is gone. The plan is gone. Wow, I lost it. I wanted to use a number of colors. I think we're going to take, so we're going to take Ocean, and we're going to do the point, and we're going to take this Tourniquet in the crease, probably. Although now I'm kind of looking at Jellyfish for the point. It's probably too light, so we're going to go ahead and stick with that one. Some of these have some weird textures, but we'll talk about that, later when we talk about it. Anyway, so my eyes are prepped, and we're going to go ahead and get started. The other thing is this is far too big for me to do the things. It's way too big for me to do the things. Anyway, I'm going to get a fluffy brush. I have them over here. I have to find the right fluffy brush. Where's my fluffy brush? There's my fluffy brush. And we're going to get this color Plankton. She's coming up. And we're going to go, oh, the brush is damp too. Oof. That might be why this looks like it's sealing up a bit. That's okay. Plankton is a shiny. She's showing up really nice. She really is. It's weird working at night again. Really weird to be working at night again. But also, it turned out to be kind of necessary. I was having a day. She's nice and light. This is what we kind of like underneath the brow, is nice and light. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is put the, the glitter glue on the inner corner, about a third, right? So just a little bit of glitter glue on the first third of our eye. That is a very pretty color. Now, I am not holding out hope for brush application. I am not holding out hope for it to last. But for all I know, this is going to be really impressive. Really impressive. Are you going to be the next Cosmic Brushes? We shall see. I'm going to go ahead. This is slightly damp. I'm going to go ahead and try this Luxie brush. Actually, this is Alamar, but it has the same kind of setup as a Luxie brush. I'm going to go ahead and dampen that up with some of that. And let's see if we can pick this up. We're going to try. We're going to try, folks. Going to try. I hate ruining the shells. They're so pretty. Okay, some of it's coming up. I don't think this is going to be enough to actually do much with. Yeah, no. I will say the amount that came up would probably work very well for repairing, which I'm pretty much expecting to have to do. So we'll be able to test it for repairing in a little bit. All right. Open, 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 says me. All right, let's pick some of this up with this. There we go. I hate ruining the shells. I really do. I do. Okay. There it is. That's nice and pretty. Yeah. She came out gorgeous. Not a lot of work, not a lot of effort once I went to the sponge tip. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go to Sea Witch. I'm going to use the other side of the sponge tip, since we've seen that the shimmers do not come up on a brush, which is fine. For most brands, they don't. They need to talk to Nomad and Cosmic Brushes so we can figure out what they're doing. Which provider are they working with? This may be more brown than I thought it was. She's looking kind of rusty red, but she might be more brown. She's that kind of brownish red that's somewhat in the middle. That's okay. I want to use a number of different colors so we can see them all in action. I am not using one of the weird ones. There's two of them that have a really funky texture. Well, one of them in particular that has a really funky texture. Funky. So we're going light to dark and then back to light again in a minute. These are coming up really nice. They're going on easy. As long as you use the right tool. I'm not having to battle so much. I mean, it looks like I am, but I'm not really. I'm not seeing any patchiness so far. Okay, so I grabbed a roundish brush and we're going to just try to blend these two colors a little bit into one another. Create a bit of a gradient. Because the colors are a little bit different, tabbing into that gold a bit. We're still going to see something of a line, but there is now more of a gradient because of in here where they cross. All right, so next we get ourselves a firmer brush. Make sure she's dry. And get some of this sea foam. These lighter colors, I think, sometimes are a real test, but it's coming up. So, because of the fact that they have a stronger chance of being more transparent. Oh, I don't see her coming up as well as I'd like. I think she's a little tad too light. So we'll grab this one next to her mist and try to deepen that a bit. Oh, I like that better. Definitely. I will say the matte is not mixing with the shimmer as well as I'd hoped. But that color's a little bit closer to what we need. She's bright. She won't be bright for long, though. We all know what happens. I put on the other colors and then my eyeliner, and a lot of that disappears. I'm going to grab some more of Sea Witch and go across that, trying to blend a bit. Blend that in some. Blend that in some. That's different. We'll see how it all comes out in the end, right? Okay, so what did I say I was going to do? Ocean. Ocean. So we're going to try to do ocean. We're going to try to use ocean. I always had to think about that for a minute. We're going to use this blue brush with ocean. Do our pointy things. Okay. Hi, ocean. Again, the brush is slightly damp because I just rinsed them. They got a bit wetter than I wanted them to. The skipping that's towards the middle here, I don't think that's the shadow so much as my skin causing issues. Old lady skin, right? That went on there really nice. It's not particularly blending. Everything looks so much brighter in the camera here. I'm gonna grab a blender. Just go along that edge a bit. Come on. Hi. Trying to soften that edge. It just wants to be where it is. Probably because my brush was damp. Really, come on. Okay. I think that did better. All right, and then I'm gonna grab our little thing and do the purple. Although I really should try to find a place to put some marina. Because my shirt is gonna be dark green. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put Marina in there, and I will try to use some of these purples on the bottom of my lid. What do you think? Let's do that instead. So let's grab some Marina and do what we do. I feel like Sea Witch needs something to brighten it. But that might just be me. Everything around Sea Witch is nice and bright. Sea Witch is just not. Well, that is blending into the blue nicely. Creating that nice it's not coming up nearly as dark as I expected it to. But that could just be my perspective with the light washing things out a bit. Okay. And again, there's a little bit of skipping there. But I think that's more due to my eyes. All right, so I'm going to touch up Treasure a little bit. She needs to be touched up. Like that. She had some of that color going over her on the lid. No surprise. These hooded eyes of mine, right? And seriously, I need to do something. I think I'm going to see what Friday does if it goes over it. And I'm going to do it on the other side of the brush without getting it damp. We're just going to grab some of that and see if it brightens the middle at all. A little bit. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I probably should have picked a totally different color for the inner or for the across the lid. I'm gonna grab one more. I know. Will you pick up any of this? Okay. We're trying some of this Lost Pearl. Holy shit. That's not what I expected. I wasn't expecting that at all. Damn. And those little sparkles are trying to get away. I'm a little less mad at it, but I'm still not sure about the whole look. Alrighty, I'm going to go and do the rest of my face, finish off, do the other eye, all the things. And that's going to be a few minutes for me, but it's going to be just like that for you. So, okay, so here's our look. Before I take my glasses off and get you into all of that, the look is somewhat of a trash fire right now. And a lot of that is not Cara Beauty's fault. A lot of that is just my eyes are the trash fire tonight for some reason. They have just let it go this evening. So, here is our look after I sneeze. I did stick with just using the palette. Underneath the eyes, I used the color Jellyfish right here. Went over to the back, used a tourniquet. tunicate. I was going to say tourniquet. Tunicate. And then I also used this deep dive, which ended up being way darker than I expected, and I had to smudge it out to reduce some of that. The wings are trash at this point. They were a mess to do. That's all on me. My eyes are doing their thing. On the inner corner, I did use a little bit of this color Scales, this green here. Not much, and it's already washed out, so the whole thing, like I said, most of this is my eyes. It's not Cara Beauty. Actually, one of the positive things about this is that despite all the weepiness, the shimmer, the gold shimmer on the inner corner held up fairly well. Yes, I did end up having to repair it. It did not repair as well with the brush as I'd hoped, but if my eyes hadn't gotten quite as weepy as they have, I suspect that it would have been fine. There might have been a little hole, maybe, probably, just because my eyes being my eyes, but the fading and all of that, I'm putting to the fact that my eyes just kind of lost it tonight. So let us go ahead and talk about the palette otherwise. My two biggest problems with the palette are all on me. Every problem I've had with this palette is on me. It's either my eyes or it's me. For one, the first thing that I should have really thought about is that this many colors is incredibly overwhelming for me. This is not supposed to be pink in the middle, but you know, stuff happens. But this is a lot of shades. And honestly, a number of these shades I think we could have done without, to be fair. Like these three pinks, these four pinks, pick one to remove. Easily could have removed at least one of these. Yeah, easily could have removed at least one of these. It's just too much. It's too much. There's only the two blues, and then there's all these pinks and a couple of purples. And really, if you think about it, we're talking a mermaid here. Not enough greens, I don't think. So, thematically, I think there were just too many pinks for one. But like I said, overall, we're looking at 24 colors, which is really a lot for me to process through with my ADHD. The other problem that I also should have thought about is that a lot of the colors are very pastel. And we all know that my skin eats pastels for lunch for most brands. This one was no exception on that for the most part. There are still some beautiful colors in here that I think I can use that are pastelish. But as you saw with the light green, it just doesn't always come up as well as it should. So I bought this not thinking about those because it is one where the colors and the art got me. But beyond that, there were other things as well. I do think that there's somewhat of a lack of cohesion in here. Lots of pinks in one corner, quite a few purples going all the way around here. We have some neutrals down here. I think the color story itself needed some editing. I think they could have dropped a number of shades out of here, brought it down to 18 shades, which is where I'm more comfortable, and it would have been fine. And that's especially considering we have like some very, very strange textures in here. This color, abalone. This is waxy. Almost like a cream, I guess, but it's very slick. It's very slick, and it doesn't do anything. I don't understand. I mean, I'm seeing a sheen there. I had my daughter take a look at it, and she was just like, it's a highlight type thing. And that's fine, but it doesn't really do anything. I would say it's a topper, except it's not a powder. And if you put a cream over your powder shadows, you're looking at some of the issues that I have when I put my glitter primer over the powder and stuff that I've put on my base. it ends up eating it away. So I am not even sure what this shade is for. It's the only one that has that texture. Most of most of the glitters, there's like 4 of them, have the same texture, and but one of them, this purple one here called Opal, is a much chunkier texture, and I don't understand that either. And on top of that, I accidentally put 2 of them together. Oops. I'm gonna have to take that off. Give me a second here. Okay, let's do it that way. And then, of course, also we're looking at glitters that aren't really, they're not really there. So the glitters were kind of a failure for me. I do like the fact that I was able to put the Lost Pearl over the one, and it did bring out some sheen, but these glitters are not going to give you a solid glitter base. They're just going to flake across your eyes, is from what I can tell. That might be a me thing, because I don't like working with glitters much because they fall into my eyes, and my eyes are already easily irritated. The mattes did just fine. The shimmers did fairly well. They did as expected for the most part. And as I recall, this is Seaside Serenade. The price on this wasn't horrible. Would I buy from this brand again? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it would have to be something that would really catch my eye like this one did. And then on top of that, it would have to not have the glitters in it, because that's a waste of money for me. And I don't even know about this abalone. That texture is just so strange. Let's go ahead and get into some swatches. I'm grabbing some things around the palette. So some of these are shimmers. Some of these are mattes. This shimmer, I'm not surprised by that. Okay, that is a color that's going to do that, unfortunately. So let me grab I grab these two purples that I used today. So the shimmers have some oomph to them. The mattes are nice. They're smooth. There was a bit of patchiness, but that patchiness could have been that creasing I get in my eyes. That said, they did build up fine enough and didn't take a lot of effort for that. The shimmers didn't really take a lot of effort for what I was doing, so that was pretty nice. This will not be a favorite brand at this point. I really do think they're going to need to improve their formula for that to happen. As you can see, the shimmers, that's a shimmer there, do leave some staining behind, so that's a good sign. I just had other issues with this particular palette, so I might buy another palette that's a little smaller, that I feel has a much more thoughtful color story than this one does. And I'm not saying they weren't thoughtful about it. I'm just saying, for me, what I am seeing here on this color story, it's scattered. There's just not enough. It doesn't really quite fit what I see here, especially when you put all those pinks in there. We needed more deep blues. We needed more deep greens. We needed more of that kind of color in there, because you're looking at a mermaid. More purples. We just needed to pull most of those pinks out, to be honest. One or two of them is great, but I think they overdid it with as a focus of this palette. And I do think that there are a number of shades that just we don't need at all. Well, I don't know. Of course, we all know I'm going to say get rid of the browns. I am a little disappointed in Sea Witch. I want to try this peachy color too. I am a little bit disappointed in Sea Witch. Um, I thought she was going to be a bit more. That peach is pretty. That'll have to be an under the brow color. But the Sea Witch just didn't. It looks like it's supposed to be mostly a ruby. But on me, it looked more brown. I could be wrong. I'm looking at it differently than you guys do. You have all this light, and I'm being glared at by the light. So that could be part of that issue too. But I really was, and neither one of those held. Well, there's a little bit of Sea Witch left there. But I really just was really disappointed. I thought Sea Witch would be just a bit brighter than it was, which is kind of silly, I guess, because when you look at it, it is kind of deep in there. But often when you pull up colors from a pan, they do come up a bit lighter than what's in the pan because of the amount, the density. Here it is a very dense color. You pull some up, it's not going to be as dense. So the colors will adjust. Anyway, like I said, I might try something if it's a smaller palette. It doesn't have the glitters, and the color story is something that really catches my attention. But other than that, I don't think I would really purchase, at least not another palette from them. I would have to try some of their other products to know whether or not I'm interested in anything else. And as you all know, I'm a bit of a palette junkie, so that didn't happen this time. Maybe I'll buy some other things from them and see how some of their other products are. Because I do know, like, for me, NYX has some great, like, bronzers and blushes and lipsticks, but I'm not a fan of their eyeshadow palettes. I find their eyeshadow palettes, at least when I was trying them in the past, to be powdery and do not have enough pigmentation. And it may be the same with this company, that their eyeshadow palettes are just not something for me, but I might be more interested in other products. To know that, I would have to try some of their other products, which we're not trying anytime soon. And that brings me to another small note. I am going to be doing less of these reading readies and get ready with me's that do not include new products. They will need to include a new palette, so you're probably not going to see one for another get ready with me type thing for a little while now. I'm noticing that they don't seem to get nearly enough traffic. I know I have a few other things that don't get nearly enough traffic. The get ready with me that do not highlight a new palette, and even some of those that do highlight a new palette, don't get a whole lot of views. So they also take a lot more time for me to get ready to do what I need to do. So yeah, I'm going to be cutting those out for a while, see how it goes. That way I'll be able to get to my other content that I've been working on. And yeah, so this is going to be the last one for a little bit. We're getting ready to go to con. Can't buy anything between now and con. Really, palette-wise, I did this get ready with me, so I'm getting ready to do an It's New. And I don't recall anything in the It's New that I want. You'll have seen it by the time you've seen this. At any rate, so I'm just giving you a forewarning. We're not going to be doing much of that. Anyway, so that is it for the day. I hope you like what you've seen. And if you do like what you've seen, I hope you will go ahead and subscribe and share and like and comment down below. Are you interested in purchasing this palette? I don't think it's limited edition. I'm not positive about that, but I will list it down below with the price, and you all can check that out. And let me know if you're interested in buying it. If you don't want to do any, if you don't want to tell me your secrets about what you're buying, then just leave me a purple heart. In the meantime, we're going to get going because honestly, it is really late over here, and I have a whole nother video to do. So I'm going to go and do this whole other video, and we're going to be done here. And hopefully I can go to bed right after that. And anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and get our last drink. Oh, that's so good. So good. And, you know, we always say it. I love my girls. I love my dragonettes. I hope you have a good one.